guys. This is the first episode of 2022 of Comedians Exposed. Oh my God, we're still here. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for the feedback. I'm super excited for the first episode of the new year. This person I got to do a show with a while ago. It feels like years ago. And we're going to talk about at Brooklyn House of Comedy. And I love this person so much. They just seem to exude like what I want in comedy, of just having fun on stage and just being silly. Their YouTube or no, TikTok videos crack me up. I'm so excited. Please welcome Marcy Smiles to Comedians Exposed. Welcome, Marcy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you. Pleasure. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure that you could be here. How are you doing? Happy New Year.
I'm actually okay, and Happy New Year to you too. And I say, listen, New Year, new laughs.
I love it so much. Marcy, if you could do me a favor, tell everybody where they could find you on social media before we jump right into everything.
Sure. On Instagram, you can find me on Marcy Smiles, or good underscore the letter N as in Nancy underscore plenty 602. Or you can find me on TikTok at Laugh With Me 602.
And I love your TikTok so much.
Listen, I like TikTok because it lets you be, if it's crazy, if it's your crazy. If it's wild, it's your wild. Like, don't get me wrong. Yes, they have guidelines. Yes, but a lot of my comedy is not raunchy anyway. So I don't mind the guidelines, but it just lets you be as wild and creative as you want. And that's what I love about the platform. And it helps me creatively in terms of, doing comedy.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Do you find that do you translate like the things that you do in TikTok? Do they become jokes that you do on stage?
Actually, it doesn't, but I feel like I have to keep doing that to stay, just to be in the know. Like, I need to know what people laughing at now. What is the latest thing that people laughing at? Sometimes they become jokes on stage, but a lot of times not, because I actually talk about my real life on stage. Yeah. And TikTok, I use it like for skits and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I'm on stage. I'm really talking about, me.
Yeah, you have a lot of characters on TikTok, yes. A lot of, yeah. Which again, I enjoy TikTok, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do feel like it's like a good exercise in, again, keeping the pulse on what's going on, particularly like, again, because it's hard. TikToks are not easy to do.
No, it's not. And I've toned back a lot, only because, don't get me, TikTok, I love the platform. I really, really do. The creativity from so many people, but it is time consuming.
Yeah.
You log on and the daytime, next year, it's nighttime. And it goes like that. So I've actually limited, like once or twice a week, I'll go on and see what's going on. But other than that, I really had to pull back because I was falling behind in other stuff. And it can really draw you in like that. That's how good the videos are. And that's not a bad thing, but if you got things to do, right, that's not a good thing either.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, again, with like doing comedy, like doing stand-up, like there's all these other venues, but they're equally time consuming, like Twitter, TikTok. And it's like, okay, but what about, like, again, joke writing, actually performing, being at, like, going to open mics to practice your crap, how time consuming that is. It's like literally, like, you really have to pick and choose, like, where you're gonna like lay down and put the work in.
You're absolutely right. And I kind of, what I do is basically Facebook is for me to connect with family and friends. I have aunties on there. I got church people. I don't put a lot of my comedy on Facebook. That's basically, I use Facebook to see whose birthday it is. Unfortunately, to see who died. And, just to let people know, okay, hey, I'm still alive and stuff like that. Instagram, I post a lot of my skits, and TikTok. I don't have Twitter, period. I just said I can't do it. to get Twitter. And a lot of people, oh, you don't have Twitter, you don't have Twitter. I had to cut it off because again, the time. Things are, it's time consuming. So I said, you know what? I have to stop somewhere. So I do not have Twitter. And I juggle between Instagram and TikTok. And and again, that's my limitations. I have some friends that have everything. Bless their heart. But I know, again, I have limits. And once I really said I wanted to do stand-up comedy, that's when I realized, I said, okay, I have to limit the time again, because like you said, not only we traveling to do comedy on stage, you have to prepare. That means writing. That means rewriting. You may go to open mic and you may have written it and said it, and then you didn't particularly like the way it came off. So now you got to rewrite it. And maybe I'm on the train, I'm rewriting on the train or whatever the case may be. So that, to me, that's why I said, you know what? Something's got to give. And for me, it was, I don't have Twitter.
Yeah. So what got you into comedy? What drew you into this weird, wonderful world of jokes?
It is a weird and wonderful world, isn't it? that's an excellent question. You know what? I've been doing, and it's I didn't start on TikTok. I started doing comedy on Instagram. I remember watching Tammy Rowan. She had the Bonnet Chronicles. I don't know if you know. So she would be in her bonnet and she's, telling all of this funny stuff. So that was my first skit ever. I imitated her in the bonnet. But the difference was I put all this makeup on my eyebrows. So I looked like Oscar the Grouch. I look like Oscar the Grouch with a bonnet on my head, and I'm in a robe, and I'm just going off about something. So that was about 4 years ago, and I've been doing skits ever since.
Oh wow! So
I
want to ask you. Said you put makeup on when the first time you did it. Was that something deliberate that you did? Like, was that like?
It was deliberate, and because I wanted. Okay, so the image in my head was, even before you press play, I wanted you to, what in the hell is she doing? I wanted that response. I wanted you to laugh before you even press play.
Yeah.
So if you would see what you would be like, if you're strolling and you saw that, be like, what the hell is this? So that was the whole purpose. I wanted to stand out.
Yeah.
And then from eyebrows, then I developed different characters. So I went from, like, let's say with her, I developed a grandmother character, which actually is a tribute to my own mother. She's not here, unfortunately, but it's actually a tribute to my own mother with how she raised us, being a Southern woman with, all of these, strict rules, quote unquote. So the grandmother character is actually a tribute to her.
Okay.
And then because I have the thick mustache and the big red lipstick. And again, my mother would wear lipstick, and sometimes she didn't always get it on the lips. The lipstick would go on, on the chin or so, I purposely, and again, it wasn't obvious to everybody, but for the comedy, I purposely, went overboard with it. So I had red all over, and then I had the thick mustache, and then I got the glasses with the gray hair.
Yeah.
So and then I did that, and then I came up with a man character. I said, listen, well, I have to broaden this. I want to do grandmother's and all that. So I came up with a man character. His name is Marcus. So the funny story to that is, the first time I did Marcus was on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say this: the Marcus character, because again, when I get into a character, I like to embody the character, meaning, and not only the makeup, the dress too. So, like with the grandmother, I'll put on a grandmother gown.
Yeah.
Like you'll see, like I try to embody the whole character. So with Marcus, not only did I have a mustache and a goatee, I had the do-rag on with the hat, and you know how the guys wear the one stud earring, and then I had a Yankee. It was a Knicks sweatshirt with the thick chain, so I looked like a dude. I had all of these women on TikTok. Oh my goodness. Oh, you fine, this and that. Okay, so I had to, yes. These women was hitting on Marcus. So I had to tell them, because again, you have, I guess you have transgender, you have all types of people on there. So I had to say, I appreciate the compliments and things of that nature, but I am a female. I just do this as a character.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of put a video out and kind of explain that, because they was after me.
Wow.
So I only say that to say I must make a better looking man than I do woman.
I wanted to ask you about, with all these characters, do you have like a theater background, or where do all the characters come from?
All the characters come from because I'm a fool. I feel like, you know what, Deana, sometimes, I don't know if you ever felt like this, but I turned 50 in August.
Happy birthday. When's your birthday today in August?
August 30th. So I'm a Virgo, and I turned 50. So, this year I'll be 51, hopefully. But I don't know if you ever felt like that. It felt like, even though I was doing comedy for maybe like 4 years, it felt like it's something I should have been doing a long time ago. You know how, you go to school, you do the things that your parents tell you you're supposed to do. You're supposed to work, and you're supposed to go to school, get a higher education. I went to college. I played basketball in college. I was fortunate to get a scholarship. I did all of those things. And after college, then I worked, and you get your own apartment. Like, it's like you feel like your life is planned out for you.
Yep.
Because you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you got to be a productive citizen and this and that. But it feels like this is something that I should have been doing a long time ago.
Was it something like you wanted to do a long time ago, and you just kind of like suppressed it?
I think it was. It's a lot of it, because again, you even the funny thing is, when I first started doing my skits, I would get messages from like my siblings, because I'm the youngest of 9.
Oh.
So I would get messages like, "What's going on with you? Why are you doing that? You look like a fool. Like you 40 something years old. You're not supposed to be doing that." Da, 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 da. Listen, it's crazy, like, because again, they didn't. It's not like I told somebody, oh, I'm gonna do this and that. I just did it and posted it. I said, I'm gonna see what people say.
Yeah.
It's like my closest family members were very, very skeptical about me jumping into the comedy thing. I had friends more so that were more supportive. Honestly,
Yeah.
I tell people, I keep it all the way 100.
Yeah.
I had more friends was like, "Oh my God, yo, that was mad funny, yo, you need to do more." But my brothers and sisters, some of them was just like, "Yo, you a little old for this and this and that." Because like I said, I was 4 or 5 years. I'm what, 40, 46, 45, 46.
Yeah.
So they're saying, "Well, what are you doing?" And da 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 da, and that, stuff like that. So they were looking more at like the image, and they couldn't see what I was seeing, nor could they feel what I was feeling. But when I did that first video, I knew that I wasn't going to stop. I didn't care what they said.
Yeah.
I knew.
This is what I do not get, because I've had similar experiences in terms of, I feel like random strangers are way more supportive of me doing comedy than people who I know and have known for a long time. Like, that's not true for everybody I know. I'm not trying to, like, there's definitely friends I've had that are super supportive, but I'm just saying, like, I don't understand these people who I've known a long time that don't support. It's like, all I'm doing is trying to play and have fun. And it's like, everybody, we realize the older we get is life is full of shit, and we're going to have to deal with shit. So why can't I have fun and be silly? Like, who is it hurting? I don't understand. And these preconceived ideas of reputation of who we should be.
So I think, right. So again, so as the years went on,
yeah,
the only thing I can say from what I experienced, so the hesitancy in my brothers and sisters, as the years went on, and the more I did, they really saw like, wow, wait, you funny. Like, you really are funny. Like, maybe what's some, so they started rethinking their position. Like, well, hold on for a minute. Maybe I need to be supporting you because you are funny. So at first, when I thought about it, I said, well, why didn't they do it in the beginning? I honestly think that they were scared for me. And they were scared for me for the unknown in terms
Yeah.
of maybe they didn't want people to maybe chastise me or come at me or whatever have you.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, well, maybe they were coming from a more protective type of thing.
Yeah.
So, but now, I get text, oh, well, when is the next one type of thing? Well, when your next skit, well, make sure you tag me in it, because I don't always be on. So make sure you tag me in it. So, but I'm just saying that elevated through time. But in the beginning, it definitely wasn't like that. So, like I said, I just think
it was
maybe
just like you said you're the youngest of 9. Do you think it was birth order playing in? Like, have they been like that your whole life with you?
They do, but they know I do what I want to do anyway. I do. I think it was a protective thing, and I think that they was kind of like, this is unknown. Like I said, I've never done this, is unknown territory. So I think it was a little bit of, they want to be protective, big brothers and sisters. They didn't want me to be out in this unknown world and get hurt, or somebody just say something to me or whatever the case may be. But I think now it's, listen, I got them coming to my shows now. And,
oh, nice.
And my big brother, he just is like, he told me his own words, it's amazing to see you on stage. He said, he said, I never imagined you. He said, I know, I like your skits. He said, don't get me wrong. He said, I just never imagined you on stage doing comedy.
Yeah.
That's what he said. And I said, okay, and that's understandable, because guess what? I didn't imagine myself on stage. It took me a long time to make the decision to say, I'm going to try it. I've thought about it, but then I said, no, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to be good enough. I had a lot of self-doubt myself. Yeah. So I said, I'm not going to do it. Then I said, I just kept pushing it off. And then I said, you know what? I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to procrastinate anymore. So once I wrote something and I went to my first open mic, which was at Brooklyn House of Comedy. And when I did okay, that gave me confidence to keep doing it. But I will say, if I didn't do okay, I still would keep doing. I still would have kept trying. Because I don't want people to think the first time you do it, if you don't do good, then you should give up. No.
It takes years. I think it takes years and years. It's like something like you've got to go in my opinion, for a long game, because especially like how little time you actually get to practice, like you need someone in front of you. So it's like, how often do you have people legit in front of you with a microphone in your hand? Like, so it's like, you got to be willing to be like, all right, it's going to take a long ass time. I know, like for me, like the first year alone was just about me not trying to pee myself on stage. Like I was like, I don't care about any jokes. I just don't want to urinate on myself, because I was so afraid, But like, what about, because again, you said you thought about it for a long time before doing it. So because it's so crazy. Like, again, this is like what boggles my mind about comedy. It's like we all have those fears, like how your siblings were afraid that you might be like chastised, or like you yourself acknowledging that it took you, years to kind of like get over that. So what was that about? What do you think was holding you from just taking the plunge of doing it?
I think just the fear, the fear of the unknown. And the fear of, I think, what I told myself, I said, because doing the skits, it was comfortable for me, because you gotta remember, when I do a skit, if I'm doing a 2-part skit, I'm in control of what you see at the end of the day, because I'm editing. So you don't see, all you see is a finished product. You don't see all the mistakes. So it took a while, because now you'll be able to see all my mistakes live. There's no, all right, cut. No, I don't want y'all to see. You can't tell the audience to not see that no more. There's no more that we're going to do a retake, or I'm going to cut that scene out, or cut that joke out because it wasn't that funny. So I was comfortable doing skits. So that took a while for me to think going on stage, because I knew that when I went on stage, it was whatever they saw, that's what it was gonna be.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing.
Why is it scary?
It's scary because you don't know. You can practice in your head what you're gonna say, but
Yeah.
that's not necessarily what's gonna come out your mouth.
Okay. So let's lean into this then. So, because let's keep going because it's scary. So if it doesn't come out of your mouth, what's the worst thing in your brain that could happen? Like, what's the?
Oh boy. So, like you said, we can practice a joke, right? But then you can't practice an audience. Like you can't practice hecklers. You can't practice an audience. Like you can't practice somebody yelling something from the audience. And even you can't practice even if it's a positive thing, they're yelling, oh my God, that was funny. You can't practice that because in your head, you want to go from A to B. You want to go from this joke to that joke. So if something is interrupting you, or if something is throwing you off, if something it just happened, who's to say? But let's say the bartender breaking glass. It could be something as that. And then next you know, your attention is there, you're thrown off. So like, oh my goodness, I forgot what I was gonna say next. I forgot my next joke, or where did I even? So it's like even something as simple as a glass breaking, or somebody getting up and walking out.
Yeah.
While you're on stage, somebody getting up and walking out. That to me is like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? It can be so many things, but like you said, I can stand at home and practice my joke, but when you get on stage, you cannot practice what's gonna happen while you're on that stage. So in a way, you kind of gotta go with the flow. From what I learned, like you gotta be a little spontaneous, and you have to leave some room for spontaneity because you just don't know. Like I had a guy that said something in between my set, and I said something back to him. It was positive and it was funny, but then I had to jump back to my joke. Mm-hmm. So it's like you gotta be spontaneous, but then you gotta kind of stay in sequence. It's not an easy thing. I'm not saying it's easy, but you kind of gotta be like quick on your feet.
Yeah, you do. Definitely. Like, especially when you're like in having those moments, like with hecklers and people engaging, because like you said, you can't practice that. At home, you could just be like, talk it over and over to yourself and it's fine. But then all of a sudden, like one little thing can throw you off. But what about, again, because like this whole fear, like you had mentioned the word fear. So it's like, what's the ultimate fear for you then with comedy? Like what happens, just out of curiosity, like, cause I know you did mention you play basketball. So obviously, like, I wonder if there's like a translation from like you and like the competitive nature of being an athlete and then translating into comedy of how you want to be able to have a level of like control over the outcome. Is that like, because you said the word fear, like, so I'm just curious, like, that's what I'm diving into is like, what is that fear? Where is that coming from?
If you ask me some of the things that scares me about going on stage and doing stand-up comedy, or it's a variety of things. The one thing off the top of my head is just flat out forgetting my joke.
Okay.
Flat out forgetting my joke and standing there because you have the audience looking at you there. Listen, when you take that stage, the audience is ready for you to entertain them. So, if you get up there and you said a joke fine, and then next it's silent because you forgot your joke. That's when it kind of like ad-lib come in. So that scares me. But that's happened to me. But I kind of just went with something else until my mind clicked back to it.
Yeah.
So, I did forget my joke a few times, but like I said, I was able to just talk about something else until I was able to get back. So I'm fearful of that because that happens often.
Yeah.
I'm fearful of just not making people laugh. I mean, if you a stand-up comic and you not fearful of not being able to make people laugh, then I would think something wrong with that. but yes, I have a fear of getting on stage and telling jokes and nobody laughs.
Yeah.
That's very scary.
So then
That's very scary.
how much of comedy then is for yourself compared to the audience? Because I feel like sometimes with comedy, like, because you said earlier, like a lot of your comedy is you, right? You're like, this is your life and that's what you're sharing. So it's like, I feel like there's this divide with comedy where it's like you can be solely for yourself and writing jokes. You're like, this is funny to me. And I'm going to stand on a microphone and shout it into the world because it's like, to me, there's like a level of empowerment, but then it's a very like selfish kind of like place where other people or other opportunities in comedy could be like, oh, I want to share this with everybody because they'll collectively think it's funny. So for yourself, how much do you feel comedy is it more for yourself or is it more for you of you wanting other people to have a good time?
So, okay, that's a twofold question. I think, well, the stage is for me. I like. Hold on, wait. I'm sorry. What happened? Oh, a call came in, but why did?
Okay.
Right, but why would the call do the Zoom? Hold on 1 second.
Sometimes it like I think it does that.
Okay, so the stage, I would say the stage is for me.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy it, and that's a power in and of itself. To grabbing that microphone when the host passed, because I've never been a host, so I've always been passed the microphone. So when the host pass you, says your name and pass you that microphone, that's power. So now you have, it's like Shira, like I got control over y'all now. See, now y'all waiting for me to give y'all a dose of this funny, but y'all gonna wait until I'm ready to give y'all that funny. That's power. So the stage I definitely do for me because it's definitely an adrenaline rush. The writing I do for me also because I'm not gonna lie, and I don't think I'm crazy, but when I write certain things, I'm in here, I'm laughing my ass off. And listen, I laugh at my own self. So if I'm laughing and I'm like, I say to myself sometimes, you really gonna go there? And I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go there. So and I feel like if you don't laugh at yourself, then nobody else gonna laugh at you. So now, and the crazy part about it is, but I also do the same thing for other people because I think that laughter heals. I really do. To me, my go-to places are laughter and music.
Uh-huh.
Everyone has in terms of coping mechanisms and things that they go through in terms of stress or stuff like that. And mine are comedy and music. So I really think when people can heal through laughter. I think sometimes some people that's sitting in the audience, they got problems like everybody else, but for that 5 minutes or for that 10 minutes or for that hour that they at that comedy show, they're laughing and they forgot about whatever problems that they were going through, or whatever they just went through for however time that they at that show. We can get them to peel off all of that and just let loose and just laugh and just have a good time. Yeah. So I honestly think it's I do it for me and people, other people.
So that you would say it's an equal split for you?
I wouldn't say it's equal, but I know that I do it for both because if I say it's not equal because I know I do it more for me because at the end of the day, let's just say I don't have any shows booked, or I'm not performing as much as I used to. I'm still writing and I'm still trying to create skits and stuff like that. So I definitely think I do it more for me, but I definitely love it when I do perform and people enjoy it. That's a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. I feel like though it's a really particular feeling with comedy because like, again, comedy's so multi-layered, like where we're at. And, again, for some people, like comedy can solely be for them. And particularly when you think about like this climate that we're living in, finding like having people like humor is so subjective,
Right.
it's like
Right.
very complicated. So part of the premise of the podcast, what we look at is the balance of comedy and how, to me, a lot of comedy is rooted in this idea of your willingness to be vulnerable and the whole idea of vulnerability. So what does it mean for you to be vulnerable?
To be vulnerable, meaning to want to show your feelings. Don't mind showing if you're happy or hurt or sad. Um, you to me, you can't. Okay, it's not to say you can't, because you can. I think I think comedy, to me, I think comedy comes across better if you show a little bit of vulnerability. If you show that, listen, I'm just like you. It's just that I decided to get up here and on stage and talk about what I'm going through. I think if you could show that side and show that I'm just like you. When I give this mic back to the host, I'm gonna get a drink and sit right next to you. I think if you show that, it's more relatable
Yeah.
to the audience, and they feel like they're more connected.
Do you do that? Do you feel like you show yourself?
Oh, I feel like I show myself, all right.
Yeah.
I feel like I show myself. I feel like that I feel like I think people, okay, so I'm gonna just put it like this, because I'm sure like, we usually get 5 or 6 minutes to perform most of the time at these shows. I feel like in that 5 or 6 minutes, when I leave, I feel like I wish I could have gave more, and I feel like the audience would have loved to have gotten more from me. Like, I can't wait to a point where it feels like I can get 10 minutes maybe, and maybe not a 5 or 6, so it feel like I'm rushing or jogging everything in down the throat. I feel like it'll give me time to really, really be, and give them more of who they possibly could
Yeah.
see.
So what are some things that you give them that you find, you're like, oh, I'm so nervous about doing this, but I know they're going to relate to it. So what are some of those things that you talk about?
Well, I just talk about who I am, like in terms of being gay and in terms of being in a relationship, with my wife for that we've been together for over 20 years. I feel that a lot of people relate to that. I feel that obviously being, a Black female, and being now 50. So I feel like I talk about, the maturing, aspect of it. I feel like I talk about, gay issues and, just being a woman in general.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a lot of baggage right there.
Does any of that make you uncomfortable to talk about or nervous to talk about?
No.
No. Do you have any jokes that you will talk about or want to talk about that make you uncomfortable? Do you have any material? Because that's another thing. A lot of comics, some comics love to dance on the edges, of like being like, all right, I'm really provocative. Here we go. I'm going to be dropping these boop, 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 trigger bombs, And then some comics are more like, like I'm like not going to go out there. I want to be more like centered and more like neutral in the sense, because you know what I mean. And again, there's benefits to both. There's beauty in both. Right. I always think comedy is like, a palette of colors. And so what about yourself? Like, where do you find yourself, where you lie?
Well, I think I like to mix it up, because I curse, but I think I call it like a necessary cursing.
Yeah.
I like, I don't just curse just to be cursing. So it's like I curse when I feel that's like it's necessary cursing. But But you guys, excuse me, the 50s kicking in again. But what was the main question?
So my question was like, I'm curious, like, listen, honey, I'm right there with you. I'm knocking on the door. So like, I'm curious because, like, especially with doing comedy, like, again, like, so much of comedy, is it for yourself? Is it for other people? Are you sharing your personal experiences, or like, on this idea of being provocative, like some of our life choices, and some of the things we might want to joke about are very provocative in nature and make people really uncomfortable. And some comics shy away from that, So
I just remember the question. You said, what am I scared to talk about?
yeah, I'm curious, like, are there things that material, you won't touch on, or you want to touch on and won't?
Yes, and I'm glad you asked that. And I hope they don't listen to this, but I wrote a lot of material on my family, but I haven't had the nerve to take it there yet. Well, because again, I don't know if I'm gonna be invited to the barbecue. Yeah, but that's truthful though. I have material on a few of my family members.
Yeah.
That I have yet to take the stage yet. So that part I'm a little hesitant about.
It's hard. It's definitely very hard doing comedy and like writing about things, like, again, people in our lives, because some people don't want to hear it. Yeah, so I can understand your hesitancy, but
because it's real. Like, again, it's not, I'm not saying, oh, we don't necessarily fudge things or whatever, but the things that I wrote about my family members are true.
Yeah.
It's just that I made them funny. So that's why I'm hesitant.
Do you think you're going to end up crossing that line and finally doing it?
I think I will, but I think because I'm already bordering that, like, I think I'm just going to have a conversation, because I have something about my brother, have something about my sister. I think my brother will be more okay with it than my sister.
Yeah.
So I said, once I think I'm going to do it, I'll have a conversation, with them first, and ask them what they think. Like, again, I think I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway. But if they really would have a problem with it, then I might not do it, because, again, I don't want my family mad at me.
Yeah. But I think, a lot of it sounds like so much of your comedy is rooted in love. So it's like, I feel like, and especially too, like, being able to jest with each other. Like, I always find that is a very significant bond that you can have with someone, is that you can make fun of each other and just be like play and poke, and just realize that it's like, it's nothing serious, that it is literally just. So I hope that you get to be able to do that, because especially, like, again, like, people, I feel like audiences are hungry for that. They're hungry for, and again, being one of 9 children is a really unique experience, and being the youngest of 9 children. So it's like, yeah, people want to hear about that. Like, oh my God.
Right, exactly. So, like I said, there's ways that I can still do it. I can, not be, not say certain things or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think eventually I'm gonna, because it's just too much. It's too much to not draw on. It's just so eventually, but I think I'll start with my brother. I think he'll be more of a good what do you call that? A good sport.
Yeah.
He'll definitely be more of a good sport about it. He's one of the main ones that comes to a lot of my shows and stuff like that. So I think he'll definitely be. Yeah, he'll be more of a good sport about it.
Yeah. What about other stuff then? Like, what about comedy? Do you do anything, like, in terms that's just more topical? Like, do you get into political stuff or anything else? Like, any concepts, like, again, like, what would you feel like that the audience might get uncomfortable with? Is there ever a time that you're like, okay, here's my set, I'm gonna go in, and then you see the audience and you look at them and you're like, oh, I don't know if I could do this? Do you ever have anything like that?
Well, yes, I've had that. I'm gonna get to that, but I very rarely like politics is I don't really do that a whole lot, and the religion thing I don't do that. There's certain things I just stay away from. And politics I might take a jab here and there. Like I've taken a jab here and there, but it's like a quick jab and out. Like I don't stay there. Like that's not in terms of politics, it's more than likely something that's happening current.
Yeah.
And I just got to speak on it. So I'll throw something in there about it and, and make a joke about it, keep it pushing. But in terms of religion, I don't do that at all. Yeah. I stay away from that. But in terms of being gay, and it's funny you said that. Now, there's this one bar, right? And I ain't gonna lie, it was in the hood, like, and I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant about saying I was gay. And again, originally you gotta not keep it real all the time. Unfortunately, we in a Caribbean environment, not all Caribbeans are gay friendly. Mm-hmm. They obviously they're brought up to, to think that being gay is not good or whatever the case may be. So this bar was 99.9% filled with Caribbeans, and I'm talking like hardcore men and things of that nature. So I'm not gonna lie, I was hesitant about just bringing up and making that up, in terms of my jokes. But I said, you know what, I'm not gonna not be who I am. Mm-hmm. But I'm not. Of course, I did the joke, and of course, I put more spin on it in terms of what I would usually do. But there was definitely hesitancy there. So yes, there are times where I just look around the room and I say, okay, and that's one time that I said, I don't think the gay thing gonna work in this crowd.
Yeah. What do you think though, because I do believe, like, especially with comedy, there's a lot we have to get from just not being just being able to get making people laugh and that connection. Like that's one wonderful thing. There's other things we also get from doing comedy, particularly like how you said you're in a situation, and again, it was a Caribbean bar. You had this opportunity, and that's with comedy. It's kind of, I love that. It's like we kind of have an opportunity to be like, all right, we don't think these people may be ready for it, but we try it anyway. So it's like, what do you believe personally you have to gain from doing comedy besides making people laugh?
Well, I think you said it in a nutshell, is that, with comedians, sometimes you're going to take a risk, and that night showed that to me. Like you said, you walk into different spaces and different rooms. I don't know about you, but I don't have comedy for any kind of room there is out there. I have the comedy that I wrote that's about me and my life. And if it doesn't necessarily fit in that room, then that room, I would have to make that room adjust to me. Basically, I won't necessarily adjust to the room. So I think I think you said it in a nutshell, is that we take chances wherever we go, because we're going to different areas. So let's say that the same jokes I told in this bar, maybe I'll go to the Greenwich Village Comedy Club, and there's more mature people there, or from different backgrounds or whatever. So I think we're gonna take a chance wherever we step on stage. We're taking a chance to see, are these people going to are they going to understand what I'm saying? Are they going to understand? Because in order to laugh, you got to understand what I'm saying. So are they going to understand my comedy, or are they going to then laugh? It's, so I think we take a chance regardless. And even in that setting, I got laughs, but I knew it wasn't going to be what I was used to. And that's okay too, because every situation is a learning situation for me.
Yeah. So what did you take away? What was your lesson learned from that situation particularly?
The lesson learned from that situation is to always scope out where you got a show. Always do a drive-by the night before.
That would, I think, result in a lot of canceled shows, you know, like, oh my God, you go get there. Where the fuck am I performing?
Yeah.
What
Listen,
the
listen, you better do a drive-by or pull it up or something and see what your audience has the potential to be like.
Oh. But is there part of you that loves those nights when you walk in and you're like, what the, like those nights where things go horribly awry and you bomb terribly? Like, obviously it's not ideal, you don't want it all the time, but I do believe there's stuff that are equally also valuable to learn there, you know?
Let me I'm glad you asked that, because I'm just speaking in that specific situation. I didn't necessarily even need to, do the whole gay thing and all of that, because what I did was it showed me use things that are going on now and just be yourself and be funny. So when the guy introduced me, he passed me the microphone. I said, listen, because his name was Joe. He was the host. I said, Joe, next time you call me to do a show, let me know if I need to bring my bodyguards with me, because, what's going on up in here? Like, so I just started talking about the lounge in and of itself. I said, listen, I should have known this is a different show when I seen the dude start pack frisking people coming in. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Like, what are y'all about to have a shootout and not tell me? Listen, hell with these jokes. If y'all about to start shooting, I'm out of here. Y'all can laugh tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? So I just started going off on things that was happening, and it was true. Yeah. That's what made it funny. You had a security guard pack frisking people. Like, what kind of? I said, Joe, what do you got me involved in, my dude? You gotta let me know next time. So I trust me. I got brothers. I can bring security with me. You know what I'm saying? So I did a lot of off the cuff that night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good lesson, though. Definitely. You just do adapt. And it's like, I feel like comedy definitely helps us become more adaptable in life. I definitely feel like with this pandemic, and again, seeing the way people use their time, and I love watching the videos that people make. Again, it's just, and there's no such thing as too much laughter. Like, we have enough of everything that is going on. So I always appreciate comedians that are trying to, again, just make people laugh. But what about, because again, I feel like too, we're living in kind of a delicate time. And then you think about doing comedy. And then, of course, I always like to talk to comedians about cancel culture. Do you find yourself ever like worried that you might end up in that position? Or do you find it necessary that it exists?
Okay, well, to me, you don't. To me, the cancel culture only applies to celebrities. That's just my personal opinion. Because if somebody don't watch me or don't want, who cares? Like, who am I? Like, you understand what I'm saying? But I think in terms of comedy, that's the only thing that I said about comedy. If I had a negative, one of the main things, like if I had the top 3 things about comedy I don't like, that would be number 1, the fact that people are too sensitive and you feel as if you have to water your comedy down. Yeah, that would probably be my number 1. Like we like the Richard Pryors and the Millie Jacksons and all of those people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels like comedy has to be censored. Feel like it has to be watered down. Feel like you have to watch what you say, because this group will be offended and that group will be offended. And at the end of the day, it's just jokes. It's comedy. That's it. I'm not trying to, hurt or whatever. We just laughing and keeping it pushing. So I do. I think this generation is just too sensitive. I really do. I think all of that cancel stuff, I don't agree with it. Mm-hmm. I think that I think, the art, people don't understand that comedy is an art form. And yes, there are going to be people that make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. And yes, deal with them on their mistakes. But in terms of, okay, well, you can't, you said this about these people, or you said this about whatever, you know what? You can't work for us no more, or we're canceling your contract, or we're taking your sponsorship and stuff. Like, I just think that's going too far. When you talk about, okay, people make mistakes, okay, fine. But now you're talking about changing people's livelihoods and things of that nature. I don't agree with it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I think people are too sensitive. And sometimes I think people nitpick, and they want to create friction, and they want to create problems where sometimes there's none.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it seems like that's the culture that we're in. We're in a culture that they are dissecting what you say word for word, syllable for syllable, and they are trying to see, oh, did he say that wrong? How did he say it? Did he say it in high text? Did he target this group? Oh, and they're looking for you.
Yep.
So I think that's the unfortunate piece. That's like, I feel like I should have came out in comedy in the 70s.
Oh my God. I think like, oh, golly, how much fun it would have been. Like, I keep thinking if I had started comedy when I was young, because I was like older, and I'm like, oh man, I missed the scene. I missed it. And like, yeah, like the shit that people probably could have gotten away with, because now it gets people's buttholes get a little tight, and you're like, relax,
Relax. Just relax. I'm just trying to make people laugh. That's it. I'm not trying to start no political war. I'm saying, again, my opinion. I'm saying how I stand on something. And again, I just think that, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're still making it work, but it's just, to me, it's and you could tell it's watered down.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna, honestly though, I do feel like there probably will be a shift again, because to me, there's a level of inauthenticity about it, because, the reality, and this is what social media neglects, because I really feel social media is the big drive behind cancel culture. It's because all the people, like you said, can get on the bandwagon and be angry and be unified together. But the reality is you're taking away from the experience of actually knowing someone. Like, like when you meet someone in person, you can read their energy. And like, you might say something to me and be like, oh my gosh, and like, I'll know you're joking. But just if you were to like hear just the actual words, like how easily someone could misconstrue something without recognizing, reading the energy of the person. Actions do speak louder than words.
Right. Or you ever get that time where you got 2-3 words of the whole sentence, and then you say, well, wait a minute, well, what else did they say? Now you got to go look it up to hear the whole thing. But meanwhile, they just cut out an excerpt.
Yeah.
But once you read the whole thing, it doesn't seem as offensive as the one excerpt that they took out.
Yeah. Right. And even like someone mentioned this, I was talking with another comedian, and I thought this was a relevant point, that it's like, there's money to be made by people being offended. Like if you say something offensive, I could write an article about this and be like, oh my God, Marcy, now my relevance can be based on you're triggering me,
Right.
Why did you do Marcus? I'm so offended. Oh my God, like shut up, people, relax. So
You're absolutely right. What's the last show that you did?
So I took a break for Christmas. I was off for like a month. So I haven't done, so tomorrow I have a show. Yay, finally. Because like I said, with the damn virus and everything, I just kind of like was locked in the house.
Okay, well, nice. Where you gonna be?
It's down in Red Bank tomorrow, so that should be fun. It's, I'm excited. Yeah. What about you? Can you tell everybody, where can we catch you?
I ain't got nothing booked listen, I don't have nothing. The last show that I did, it was actually, I was scheduled for a show and it was canceled. Yep. And that was last weekend. I was scheduled for a show, and then, again, it got canceled. I guess for the COVID stuff or whatever. I guess the promoter, so. But I don't have anything booked because, like I said, people was kind of like, iffy, and if they should still take a chance.
No.
So we'll see what happens.
I know. That's what I keep waiting. Like everything, I keep expecting things to be canceled, like the day of, because it's like, all right, you know what I mean? So.
Well, I'm gonna stay ready just in case, those texts come.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this can't. Well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say it can't last forever, because at this point I've decided anything is fucking possible. So
anything.
It's nice that we have. I believe I like the fact that we have social media. At least to do the videos, because I know, it's like it's at least still another fun, creative outlet to make people laugh. So. Marcy, I just want to say it's been wonderful talking with you today. Thank you so much for being able to take time out of your schedule.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you. And I appreciate you having me. And I appreciate you wanting to talk to me.
No, absolutely. I loved, like I said, I was so excited when I met you, and it was so fun. Like you just seemed like you had like so much fun on stage. Like you were just like really like present and engaged, and just like I loved how silly you were. And it's like again, it's because like especially like that's what I'm trying to chase after. It's like I just want to have fun in life. That's it. Yeah, that's the only thing. It's like why do we have to stop playing as adults, and it's
yes, that needs to be on a t-shirt. Like, yes, stop putting age restrictions on people. If you feel to do it and you have the energy to do it, do it.
Yep.
Do it. Long as you're not hurting yourself, not putting yourself in any risk or putting anybody else in any harm's way. Do it.
There's either because my mother tells me this. She's like, "Oh, I'm too old," and I go, "Bullshit. You're either alive or you're dead. That's all. There's no such thing as too old." That is, and there was like a quote, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, that becomes like a cop out is an excuse to not do things. Right.
Exactly. So, that's right. I like that. Listen, you either dead or you're alive. You ain't too old. Nope. That's right. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
So I hope so much to share a stage with you. I hope to see you soon. So let's.
Yes. Definitely hope to see you on the comedy scene. And if not, listen, we got each other's information. So, we'll definitely run into each other eventually.
Yeah, I definitely have your back always. Right.
And keep killing it. And thank you again for having me.
Thanks so much for being here, Marcy. And if you could do me a favor, tell everybody one more time where they can find you on social media.
Instagram, Marcy, Marcy Smiles, and TikTok, Laugh With Me 602.
All right, Marcy. Well, thank you so much again for being here.
All right, take care now.